Aha! Hello, everybody, and welcome to Korner K2. I think this is episode 10, 9, one of those two. Um, Today I am, of course, your same host as per usual, and today I am only joined by Javier. How are you?
Tired.
Yeah, I felt that. Being trapped at home via quarantine has been no help for my sleep schedule. Also, I've not been outside in like over a week, so new record. Um, let's see. So last time we joined ourselves. Um, there was the meeting with the O5 Council with JVH by himself, and he got to yell at a bunch of old people in a dark conference room for like 2 hours, and got like nothing done pretty much. Uh, and then in the meantime, Boston Brook Battlecock, our new Kraken friend, Ctaiobhast, and the Demon Warlock pal, we went to an alley in Baton Rouge and are trying to solve a murder, ending off where we uncovered the weird, like, dimension door spell to access this speakeasy. So, I believe the last part of the scene that we left off on was did the door spell. It was the big metal door, like the slat in it, and then the slat opened, and there was like this really deep, like grumbling, Scottish voice from the side that like grunted at us, and we gave him the coin, and then we like went inside. I'm pretty sure. So we first enter this weird building in a pocket dimension, and it is pretty much like about what you would expect from like a speakeasy or like a tavern. There's some, probably 4 or 5 wooden tables, a couple of booths all the way in the back wall. Over to our left is the bar with a counter and a short, red-haired, gnome-looking gentleman wearing all green because he gives into stereotypes. Um, there's like by the bar, there's like a curtain, and like the smells and sounds of a kitchen come from back there. Um, the only people in this bar or indoor speakeasy, whichever you wish to call it, are pretty much all either like elves, pixies, gnomes. There is like a massive ogre that's like the bouncer that's behind us at this point, like watching the doorway. And everybody like stops and gives us weird looks as a chicken, a British gentleman, and a crazy looking wizard walk into a bar. Oh, and the Kraken. I forgot about the Kraken. What a bad joke set of this is, huh? Uh, so, let's see. Yeah, so I think Boston Brug takes a nice, proud, confident step into this bar, with everybody following. Ctaiobhast probably following in the very back, only because he doesn't like the Fae, because he is anti-fairy creature, being, the murderer of water elves. Um, so let's see. So I guess the last time, right, Boston Brook was forcibly administered, uh, like detox drugs for his alcoholism, by Helsing. So he's looking pretty messed up at the moment, but is still attempting to hold on to his gentlemanly bravado. And I think he saunters up to the bar counter. He slaps the gold like doubloon with the tree on it, uh, on the counter in front of the leprechaun. It's like, "You there, bartender? What do you know of the murder? 2 nights ago in an alley, like 5 blocks from here. And I think he's gonna have to make a charisma check for this because Leprechaun looks. First of all, he looks very pissed. 2 looks absolutely annoyed at our presence. And of course, Boston fails. I'm pretty sure. No, he doesn't actually. He gets a bear pass. So the Leprechaun, like, leans his arm on the counter, looks at all of us, looks back at Boston Brook. He draws in a really deep sigh, and he's like, I don't think, in all my time of being alive, I've ever seen someone as fucking stupid as you are. And he points to, like, Boston Brook's sword. And he's like, what are you doing bringing cold iron into a fairy bar? And Boston Brook's just kind of like, all right. And then I think when Leprechaun Dude mentions the cold iron, everyone in the bar stops talking, and like the music stops, and everyone looks towards us. And it's just like, you hear a pin drop in the back corner somewhere.
I step up to Boston Brook and I whisper in his ear, I thought this was your area of expertise.
Boston Brook like tilts his head over to you, and he's like, I'm a professor, not a con man. He's like, and I didn't think they could sense it if it was sheathed. And the Leprechaun is like,
Okay.
of course they can sense it when it's sheathed, you moron. It's still a magical sword. Like, it's like, and the Leprechaun is like, all right, since obviously you didn't actually mean to try and come in here and try to kill anybody, what do you want? And if you don't order something in the next 5 seconds, I'll have my companion here. And he like points to the 8-foot tall gray-skinned ogre on the door, who was like, I don't know, fiddling with his nails probably. He's like, or I'll have my friend here, squish your head like a grape and then toss your body outside. And Foster looks like, the murder, I already asked you. And the Leprechaun's like, oh yeah. He's like, yeah, I know the guy one of the guys who got murdered. He's like, the elf guy, he worked for me. And, yeah, I don't know what happened, but I guess he got murdered, right? He got shot. And, Boston looks like, well, yes. Mm-hmm. For sure got murdered. He was shot to death. Let's see. Don't you have the drugs on you? Or does Ctaiobhast have the drugs? I forget. So you both
it might have been. Let's just say both of us have samples.
Okay, sure. All right, makes my life easier. What is Battlecock doing while this conversation is occurring at the bar counter?
Honestly, I'm gonna have him scout place. I bring him up. I whisper a little something in his ear, and then I put him back down. And he walks off in a random direction.
Sure. Give me a perception check.
Alrighty. Let me get. I actually have physical dice for once. Let me roll this. Nice. Oh wow, that's a 2. The dice have betrayed me.
Yes, your physical dice have betrayed you. So you whisper something in Valcock's ear, and he, tippity-tap trots along. Nobody pays him any attention because a trait that we all forgot about for the longest time is, I believe, it's called... where is it? All the way down here. Like unnotability or unnoticeability. Yeah, nobody's supposed to check in. So nobody really notices he's even there. He just walks around for like a good 5 minutes while we're discussing things. He comes back. He, you pick it back up. He whispers in your ear, and he tells you that there's like a kitchen with some pixies and stuff in there making food. There's a storage room, and there's a lot of like. Well, he doesn't hit senses. Okay, so he tells you that there is a draft in the storage room, but no holes in the wall because it's a pocket dimension, and there's no like visible doorways besides the one that we're in, but there's still like an air current moving through there. So he thinks there's something wacky going on in that storage room.
All right, good to know.
And then I think the camera kind of pans away from you talking to Battlecock in secret and cuts to Boston Brook, like buying a glass of alcohol from this fey creature, which is not a good idea, but he does it anyway. Um, so I think Boston Brook, he buys us this drink, and he goes to drink it, and he's like, he's like thinking actually I'm gonna make a check for him, see if he's desperate enough to drink fey alcohol. Nope. Okay, he still has some kind. Actually, he's disadvantage because he's going through withdrawals right now. Nope. He's still conscious enough and coherent enough to not drink fey alcohol. So he orders his drink to be like polite to the bartender or whatever. He gives him, he gives him Helsing's gold coin, just to like as payment. He won't need this again. And he gives it to him. And he doesn't drink. He just like puts it on the counter, and Boston Brook leans onto the countertop, and he turns his head over to you and Ctaiobhast, and he's like, "One of you has, it's a part of that drug, right?"
I look at Ctaiobhast and I look at the dude, and I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, yes.
Ctaiobhast's like, yeah, because I think that neither of you have any idea what Boston Brook's trying to do with this. Cause I think Ctaiobhast has been like awkwardly standing by the door, but like on the opposite side of the doorway from the ogre man. So like he's just kind of trying to be small and unnoticed, while the ogre breathes down his neck from across the doorway, and he's like, "Yeah, I've got it too." And Boston Brook's like, "Can I have some of it for demonstrational purposes?"
All right, I guess I'll take some out of my pocket or whatever, and I'll place it on the counter.
All right, so you had this like it's like a cocaine baggie of red crystal, and you put it on the countertop, and Boston Brook he picks it up and he like waves it in the leprechaun's face, and he's like, "And what about this?" And trying to be really like dramatic, and Leprechaun seems completely unamused, and just stone faced, does not care. And Boston just goes, it's like, "And what affiliation do you have with this strange magical narcotic, sir?" And the leprechaun he takes out a big pipe, and he I think he probably is like a druid magic, so he just like snaps his fingers and it lights automatically. And he's like, "Sir, are you a cop or something?" And Boston Brook goes, "No," and he's gonna make a charisma check to see if he can convince the leprechaun that he is not in fact a cop. He got a 1. Okay. So, how does this? Okay, I know what happens. So Boston Brook becomes so incredibly flustered, being immediately called out as a cop, even though he's not actually a cop. But whatever, because he's really not. But he's just so unconvinced. He gets so flustered. He tosses the bag of drug into the air. The bag rips, and it like falls into Boston Brook's face. So now he is under the influence of whatever this narcotic is. I'm gonna make an endurance check to see if he just like falls unconscious. Okay, he doesn't. He's still conscious. So Boston goes, "What about an officer of the law?" And like smacks the table, and the bag like poofs everywhere. And like glittery like fairy dust and like the red crystals and stuff. They coat Boston Brook and the leprechaun, who is unaffected because he's a fairy creature. And they coat the countertop and him in this like fairy dust stuff. and Boston Brooks like pupils dilate to the maximum degree. He's just like, uh, he just looks like totally whacked out. He is tripping hard right now because he took way more drug than was supposed to be taken in a normal sitting. Because
Hmm.
of that, he's not going to be able to act for this surprise turn. Leprechaun, Leprechaun believes that Boston Brook is a cop at this point. Um, he is.
I'm gonna look to the to Leprechaun. I'm gonna be like, I have a question for you.
Like, oh yes, what do you want, Demon Boy?
What is your policy on magic usage in here? You know, I wouldn't want to break the rules, but I am. So it's good to know
Uh,
what they are in advance, so I know what to shoot for. You know.
he's like, well, so usually we after all combat leaves the building, but and he cracks his little knuckles. Uh, there we go. Uh, and he's like, but in this case, I think we can to have an exception right there, friend. And he like looks over to the ogre, who is just going to just straight up sucker punch Ctaiobhast across the face. Um,
All right. Well, that kind of. Well, I guess they didn't hit me, so it doesn't stop my plan. R.A.P. Ctaiobhast, I guess. But doesn't he have like 2k HP or some shit?
yeah, he has 2,000 health. So he's gonna survive this punch. However, it will still hurt a lot. What is this guy gonna do? Actually, he's going to grab Ctaiobhast by both shoulders and throw him across the room. This requires a strength check on the ogre's part. He succeeds. Wait, does he succeed? Yes. Leprechaun, nods over to his ogre friend, who is he's dressed in like a vest and like a bow tie, but they're both way too small for him. And like trousers that are like really tight fitting. He grabs Ctaiobhast by both arms, and he just shucks him across the room. And Ctaiobhast's well dressed body slams into a table, surrounded by elves who are just trying to enjoy a nice game of poker. And the Ctaiobhast slams under the table, destroys it entirely, and like bounces across the wooden floor, his top hat and cane scattering wildly across the room. So Ctaiobhast has to take damage. Only 1d100 though. So this will for sure not kill him. 30. Alrighty. Leprechaun, having signaled his bodyguard to assault who he believes to be undercover policeman. He is going to. So he points to his ogre pal, and then he takes a really really big drag from his pipe, and then takes the pipe out of his mouth and blows this gigantic blast of smoke right into Boston Brook's face. So Boston Brook is just not. He's choking on smoke and narcotic right now. His lungs are going to be shot. But there's now a 5 by 5 foot cube, essentially, of like what is considered magical darkness, because this is a magical pipe. Yeah. So that's what he does for the surprise round. Um,
All right.
yeah. So now we can roll initiative.
Cool.
What does Ctaiobhast get? A 9. Jesus.
Oh shit.
Did somebody roll well?
Both X and the Battlecock rolled a 10 on their initiative.
Jesus. Okay. Wow. I guess your plan gave you the upper hand in this. Let's see. So, if X rolled a 10, then he has a 14. And then Babcock gets an 18. Good lord. Ctaiobhast rolled a 9. What is his agility? 7, so he got a 16. Bosworth's gonna go last because he's high. The leprechaun gets a 6 plus whatever his agility is. So he gets a 14. 14, and the ogre, what does he get? Oh, he rolled a 10 as well. Wow, okay. Apparently we're all on the ball right now. He gets a 16 as well. Oh. Ctaiobhast got a 16. Battlecock gets an 18. And Boston Brook got a 1, essentially, which he just goes at the end of the round. Okay, so up first is, as per usual, Battlecock. Nothing new.
All right, so let me roll for personality. That is a 10, which is
The serial killer.
Ooh, finally get to use his new abilities.
Yeah.
So, Battlecock is going to go up to the ogre guy, and he's going to chain pain.
Okay. So that does 3d 100 damage with an endurance check.
That's a 6.
That's a pass.
Alright, and 3d 100 is going to be 140.
140. Okie dokie. He has a lot of health. 140. Alrighty. Let me get my counter up. So, this number minus 140. That's a lot of damage. That would have killed him if he wasn't an ogre. Let's see. Alright, up next is Ctaiobhast and the ogre. The ogre's gonna go first again. What's he gonna do to Battlecock? Let's see. Well, he can't throw Battlecock because it's on cooldown. So he's just gonna straight up try to punch him. So Battlecock can dodge this if he wishes.
Alright. Five.
That's a pass. So Battlecock runs up to this ogre, having tossed Ctaiobhast across the room. He rapid fire pecks this dude in like the shin, and carves a significant chunk of flesh off of this man's leg, which would have probably killed any normal person. And the ogre, infuriated by this chicken, attempts to like hammer fist him into the ground, but misses horribly, and just puts a fist-sized hole in the wooden paneling on the floor as Battlecock definitely dodges. Let's see, Ctaiobhast, come on, buddy. Let's see, how much does he regenerate before I do anything fancy with him? He regenerates 1d8 times 10. Wow. Nice, he's back to full health. Oh, boy. Okay.
LeMam.
He is... There's no water in here, which is kind of interesting. However, his psychic powers will be very useful. So I think he stands up, having been tossed through a poker game, looks around, sees the 4 elves that are now very angry at him. He chooses to ignore all of those guys because they aren't as big a threat to him at this moment. He looks across the room at the ogre. He holds out a hand, and he's just going to try to like force choke the ogre. You think I'm kidding, but that's an ability that he has. He rolled a 2. Is that good enough? I don't think it is, actually. Let me see. No, actually, it is. He barely passes. So he does... How much damage does he do to this large creature? He chokes him for 1d8 times 10 damage. So long as Ctaiobhast remains concentrating on this ability, this is like passive damage every turn, essentially. The ogre has that much health. He's now down to this much health. Alrighty. Now we come to X and or the leprechaun. I'll let X go first because you had a plan, apparently.
Alrighty. So basically, my only plan is to just get Boston Brook back into the fight. Do that, I'm gonna whip out my timepiece and I'm gonna rewind.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Is there should be a check associated with that. Oh, this is I've updated this.
Endurance check?
Let me see. I can check my notes. Okay. Nope, this is Battlecock. Up again. Nope, this is... Okay. Yes, endurance check.
Alright, that's a 6.
That is a pass. So you rewind the damage until, before he had taken that damage previously. So he's going to roll initiative normally now. He got a 7. Technically, he's not holding his sword right now, so he doesn't use those stats. So he has 5 plus 7. It's 12. So he goes after you anyway, which is convenient. So you do that. Do you want to move anywhere or no?
I think I probably don't want to be all that close to the leprechaun.
Yeah, you can, move like across the room from Leprechaun Boy.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna back up towards the door.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you take a few steps back towards the door. This bar brawl has broken out. Leprechaun turn. What does Leprechaun do on his turn? He's got his smoke thing that he is continuing to use. So there's now a full 1 square radius around himself that is covered in a smoke. So you watch as this like billowing, column of smoke envelops Boston Brook as well. So now Boston Brook is stuck, having just been woken up from his drug-infused stupor. Let's see. He doesn't have a lot of actual attacks. He's more of like a support dude. So he is going to point at Battlecock, and he places Jinx on him. So this forces the target's next check to fail. Like it just is a guaranteed fail. If Leprechaun Boy can make an endurance check successfully, which he does. So Battlecock's next check is just going to be a guaranteed fail, pretty much. Like his next turn is essentially wasted. Um, yeah.
Yikes.
Yep. That's his turn. Now it's Boston Brook, who draws his cold iron sword, which immediately repels everyone, like fairy in the room, and like the pixies like hiss at him from across the room, from like the kitchen doorway, and he is going to try to stab across the bar counter after. After the leprechaun. So the smoke means that he has to make an attack roll at disadvantage, but he's in melee range, so there is no check for that. So I'm going to convey that as being leprechaun gets advantage. So he's gonna dodge this. Probably will, because he's a really quick boy. He rolls. Number one, he rolls a 5. Second roll is a 10. Wow. Okay. We're all rolling really well today, apparently. So Boston Brook, you can't see this, of course, but in the steaming smoke, Boston Brook frantically draws his sword, having just been rewound through time, and like swipes down towards the countertop. But Leprechaun manages to deftly avoid the sword swing, and it cleaves the counter just like straight up in half. Because this is a cool magical sword. That's Boston Brook. Up the turn order, back to Battlecock. His next check will fail. You can still roll for personality and stuff if you wanted to.
3, which I believe is martial artist.
Yep.
So, in this, Battlecock, he's just going to use a random ability, I guess. Bicycle kick, auto fails. There's no point.
So that does auto fail. He can't take a second attack because he is like already moved over to the ogre. So.
Oh, all right then. I guess he will use Foot of the Tiny Dragon.
Alrighty.
Which is a 9.
Wow. Yeah. So you do Foot of the Tiny Dragon him. That's like 3d100 damage again.
It's gonna be 150.
Nice. Again, Battlecock being the biggest DPS of our team, continuing to depress Boston Brook, whose job is to do damage. Okay, that's that thing. Next is Ctaiobhast and the Ogre. Ctaiobhast's Force Choke continues to do damage, which does require an endurance check again, actually. He crit fails that, so that damage no longer works. I mean, he's a primordial entity, okay? This is a kraken. And he literally has done nothing but get tossed across the room and do 50 damage. God. What an OP addition to the team, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. He's gonna be the character that gets bullied for not doing anything. I can tell it already. Okay. What is Ctaiobhast going to do? He is. He can't actually do that much. So he's just going to. Actually, how far is he from the dude? Let me do my note-taking calculations here. Within a certain range, you can get him. Okay, yeah, he's for sure close enough. Okay. Let's see. So he's going to pick up just like a random poker chip off of the floor. And he's going to charge the object. He does have plenty of points left over to do so. Ocean points. So that's just a thing. And then he is going to toss it at the ogre. This does a ton of damage if he can do it. I believe he did it, yes. So this does 5d 100 damage. No. That's a third. 270. Wow, okay.
Yeesh.
410 minus 270. Hold on. 410 minus 70. There we go. Okay. Nope. 140 health. Wow. Okay, that really. Okay, so Ctaiobhast picks up random poker chip off of the floor, and he grips it in his palm of his hand, and then he frisbee tosses it at the ogre, and it hits the ogre square in the chest and explodes. And this might ignore armor stat. Let me see. It does not. Okay, so then the ogre can't actually defend against this damage. Possibly. Yes, he can, thank God. Because I don't want him to die in 2 turns. Let's see. 5 or higher. Yes. So there's a massive explosion. Nearly hits Battlecock, but luckily the ogre is big enough that it doesn't actually hit him. And then this big other smoke cloud clears as the ogre just stands in the middle of this field of smoke with a singed chest and a snarled look on his face. Ctaiobhast having done absolutely nothing that turn. Great.
LeMayo.
Ogre's turn. He is going to try and punch Battlecock again. Battlecock can dodge this again.
Cool. Well, that was a misroll. Oh, that's a 7.
Yep. So once again, the ogre, now with a chest covered in ashes and soot, he once again tries to punch the chicken, but the chicken cannot be punched. Who is up next? Leprechaun and X. So, what is our warlock going to do now that Boss looks back in the fight?
Let me see what I can do. Because, I mean, if I really wanted to, I could probably just end the fight. Well, actually, I'm not sure I'd be able to hit the leprechaun. So, I think I've only ever used this once before. So, I'm going to whip out my gun, Crystalline Chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to switch it over to fucking fire, I guess. I'm not sure what ogres are good against. So I'm just going to blast them with, my good old 1-2.
Nice. Well, you did pick correctly. Fire ignores his armor, so his natural armor. Let's see.
Oh, that's a 2.
Okay. So that's a fail, I'm pretty sure, unless I'm crazy. Yes, it is. So, our demon warlock friend, Shuzo pulls out this weird-looking, twisted revolver with a bunch of glowing lenses for cylinders, and he aims it at the ogre, and he fires, and this stream of solid flame ejects itself from the barrel of the gun, and it slams into the corner of the building and lights part of it on fire. Yeah, the building's on fire now, so that's fun. There's a time limit to this mission.
Nice.
You can move or make another attack action or something.
I think it's more important at this point to just shoot again.
Sure, yeah.
Let me see. That's a 4. Not very good.
You fire again and hit the same spot, adding to the flames.
Yikes.
So how am I gonna represent this in a possible? Never mind. I have a mental in my head. Okay. So there's a corner of the room that is now covered in flames that are quickly licking and crossing across the wooden building that you're in. The leprechaun, seeing that his bar is now on fire, he is pretty ticked off because you lit his bar on fire. Okay. So he looks. Well, actually, you can't see him, but in this cloud of smoke that is now 2 squares in radius instead of just 1, he hears the flames. And he sees the glow through the smoke, and he looks over to the poorly dressed warlock, and he makes a finger gun at him, and a beam of fairy dust fires off of his flicked finger. And I have to roll on the Wild Magic Surge table because this is his only offensive ability, really. I have to find it. 10,000 Wild Magic. Okie dokie. So it is this one, and then you need to do roll 1d 10,000. That's 100,000. Roll D 10,000. Yes. I rolled a 1 on a 1D 10,000. Are you kidding
Wow.
me? Sweet Jesus. Okay. Well, this does not hurt you at all. I have to roll 1d10 now. I rolled another 1. Okay, so the leprechaun, he flicks his finger to launch fairy dust at X, but the fairy dust falls onto his own hand and turns his pointer finger to stone.
Wow.
I don't know what effect that would have, but that's what happens. Okie dokie. Next action for the leprechaun. That was a massive waste. That could have been so good. But okay. Oh, this is gonna be good. Okay. So leprechaun is gonna make an agility check at disadvantage because his finger is now stone. He rolled a 6 and a 7, so he does pass. So, in this big smoke cloud that is ever expanding, Leprechaun, his finger turns to stone, and seeing that he is now unable to affect the warlock, he reaches across the counter, grabs Boston Brooks' pistol from his holster, and prepares to just straight up shoot Boston Brook in the face with his own gun. Pickpocket's a hell of an ability. Okay. Also at this point, the elves in the room decide to join the fight. There is not one of them. How many are there? 5. Okay. This is easier. I can work with this. Okay. So there are also 5 elves currently in the room. On top of our 2 main antagonists that have decided that, now it's time for them to get in the fray because the building's on fire. So I think they're just gonna all pull out, knives, short swords, daggers, and are going to just jump Ctaiobhast. Because, I mean, at this point, he's already useless, so just, why not? Ctaiobhast can only dodge one of these attacks, so let's see if he can. He didn't. Wow. Really bad. So these 5 elves see that this human being, that what they see as a human being, ruin their poker table. They like dogpile on top of him, and are just going to try to like straight up concuss him. They would all do so. This does 5d8 times 10 damage in total, because there's 5 of them. Hoo boy. There were 2 ones in that group. Okay, only 190 damage out of 2,000 health. So less should be 2,000. Oh, how much damage did they roll again? No, 190. Okay. 8 and 10. Okay. Ctaiobhast has been thoroughly assaulted. They did more damage than the ogre did. At least. Bostonbrook's turn. Having felt his pistol be robbed from him, he's just gonna try to. Well, actually, I don't know, because he knows he's probably not gonna be able to hit this dude while he's in this smoke, and he doesn't have a gun anymore, so he can't even back up and shoot the leprechaun. Ooh, I think Bostonbrook is going to. Yeah, he's just gonna get a swing on him again. I guess that's all he really can do. That's his thing. Is he swings his sword. Okay. 5 and a 4. Okay. So, yep, Leprechaun once again dodges. No problem. Yeah, so that's his reaction. That's Bostonbrook's. Actually, it's only one of Bostonbrook's turns. So Bostonbrook's going to attack him again. So, we rolled a 2 and a 2. Oh, that's a bear pass.
Hey.
Okay, so that matches. So as the battle boss, I could choose to make that failure pass. However, because the leprechaun used up his reaction to dodge the first attack, so he is gonna take the damage. Okay, so this guy's gonna get cut in half. Yep. Yep. All right. I don't need this counter anymore. So, Bostonbrook, he swings once, he misses, and he's like, all right, I've had enough of this. And he swings again, and he cuts the leprechaun straight up in half. From left to right across the pectorals, just boom, done. The smoke cloud dissipates as the pipe clouds across against the wooden floor. And now, Bostonbrook is standing in the middle of a bar fight in the building that is on fire. Yeah, well, I can take him off the counter. The ogre, in the meantime, he does not like the fact that Bostonbrook just cut his boss in half. Who'da thunk? But we are back up at turn order. Battlecock.
Alright. Let me roll for personality. That's a 7. Which I believe is, martial artist. What can Battlecock do right now? He already bicycle kicked. He already footed a tiny dragon. I guess he's gonna paralyze. Or no, he's gonna internal rupture. We're already past the point of, interrogation, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Bostonbrook cut the one who knew anything in half, so. Okay, so this ignores armor, I'm pretty sure. So.
Wow, I did not roll good on that.
What you get?
2.
Is it enough? Let's see. Nope, that is not enough. So Babcock, he tries to hit this dude in the weak points of his body, but he's unfamiliar with ogre physiology. Who'd have thunk? And doesn't know where to hit him. He could try that again, if you wanted to, or he could paralysis.
I could paralysis. Yeah, that's really the only thing I have left.
Alrighty, so that's another intelligence check.
That's gonna be a 5.
That is a pass. Temporarily paralyzes a foe. So okay, so it lasts for 6 turns. So this dude is paralyzed for 6 combat turns, on top of being mortally wounded. Wow. Okay, dokie. That brings us to the ogre and Ctaiobhast. Ctaiobhast is going to try to make a strength check, I guess, to escape from this dog pile. He rolled a 1. God damn it. Ctaiobhast, you are a kraken who doesn't lose his strength to become a human. Just freaking stand up. Oh my god. Okay. His turn is wasted. He can't do anything. Ogre also can't do anything. It is now X's turn and the elf's turn. So what does our warlock friend do?
All right. I think it's time for my signature ability. There are certainly 6 targets on the board.
There is exactly 6 people on the board. Yeah.
So that's a 10.
Wow.
A 4.
Mm-hmm.
A 4. A 1.
Nice.
A 3.
Nice.
And a 5. Is that 6? 10, 4, 4, 1, 3, 5. It's 5.
Yeah, that's 6. No, that's 6.
Is
It's
it?
10, 4, 4, 3,
1, 3,
1,
5.
3, 5.
Yeah, 6.
So your perception is 7. So you only missed the 3. So
And the 1.
and the 1. No, you only missed the 1. Sorry, the 3 is actually passed.
Oh, okay.
So so that's 3d100 each. So it's 5d100 for each of that's 3 per hit. So it's 15d100 in total. That's at least 150 health. You kill him no matter what you do. No matter what you roll, this man is dead. So don't even bother rolling all those numbers. So actually no, because you know. So okay, so what are you gonna use the crit on the ogre probably, right? That's what I'm assuming.
Probably.
So roll that one first for me.
All right, that's gonna be. Wow, I rolled really shitty on that one. That's only gonna be 110 base.
Oof. Okay, so I was 110 base, so that's 220 double because it's a crit. So your first fireball, you fling your arm over to the side, no look because it's a crit. So you just boom, no looking, hit this ogre square in the face with a fireball, and all of the flesh on his head and all of that just gets melted instantly, and his skull is just left dangling on his neck as his body limply collapses to the floor, and also he's on fire because the building's also on fire. Now the 5 elves, roll me individually for them, please.
All right. First one is gonna be. Ooh, that's 230.
All right, let me make a thing for them really quick because he might be unconscious. These elves have a lot of health. No, he's still conscious, but he's on 30 health. So, all right, number 2 for me.
Okay, then that's gonna be 70.
70.
I rolled
Okay.
two net ones.
Oh no. Okay. So 70, 200. That's okay. This number. All right, number 3.
Number 3. 160.
Okie dokie. Minus 160 is this number. Okay. Fourth.
130.
130. Okay. Okay, so 120. And the final elf.
I missed, didn't I?
Oh yeah, you did. Okay. He's still full health. Alrighty. Um okay. So so you fire off these 6 fireballs, kill the ogre in one shot, and the gang of hooligan elves that are currently assaulting and mugging Ctaiobhast are in various states of health as well. So that's you. Speaking of the elves, they're just gonna keep bullying Ctaiobhast because he can't get up apparently. 140 more damage. Yay. So 8, 10 minus 140 is 670. Okay. That's their turn. Boston Brook. He is going to first action pick up his gun off of the cleaved corpse of the leprechaun. Second action, shoot at the elf with the most health. He's gonna do 2 shots, so that's at a -1 for the perception check. What is his perception? It's got a 5. Okay. It's got to roll 6 or higher. Pass for number 1, and a nat 1 for number 2. Great. Wow. Okay. Shot number 1 still does 2d100 damage, doubled against paranormals, so he might kill this dude. Let's see. He does. Great. So he puts he puts one bullet in the spinal cord of the elf on top of the pile, and he and he tumbles down the hill of elves and Ctaiobhast. But the second shot jams in the gun. So he'll have to spend an action next turn to fix that. Back up the turn order. Battlecock.
Alright, let me roll for personality. That's a 2.
That is still martial artist.
Alright, has it been 3 turns since he used bicycle kick? Because if not, then he can't really do anything.
Yes, it has been.
Alright, so he's just gonna walk up to one of the elves and, this is sayonara, is all I can say.
Okay.
It's a 5.
It's a pass.
And it's the check plus 2, I believe.
Yeah, so it's about 7d100, I think, is what that means. Something like that.
No, 78 times 10, if I remember correctly. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So, let me see. Huh. It's a 230.
Okay, so you killed the second most health, I guess. And that's about how he trots up nonchalantly and just stabs this elf in the back with his claws. Next comes Ctaiobhast. Please do something. I know that you're not like the most useful in combat, but I mean, come on. You're still a Kraken. He gets to regenerate though, so that's nice. Roll a 4. So he's back up to 1,710 health. He has lost more health than Boston Brook has a maximum. So, good lord.
I guess he's good for tanking, if nothing else.
Yeah, I guess. Now for his strength check to see if he can break free. That's a 5. He might be able to break free. Let me get up my notes again. Strength of 9. Yes, thank God. Okay, so finally, Ctaiobhast's like, alright, that's it. I've had enough of being punched by elves. So he just stands, I think he just like stands up from his like seated position and, rises to these elves hanging off of him and they topple off in a big heap. And for his remaining action, he is going to... He's going to concussive force. In a 5 square radius, he hits all of them. Which will be good. You got 6 ocean points left. So this does 2d100 damage to everybody around him. So I'm going to figure out who this kills. Elf number 1 is dead. Perfectly. Nice. Elf number 2. Dead. And elf number 3, really, really not dead. Okay. So Ctaiobhast, he stands up. He's like, all right, that's it. And he like stomps his foot in frustration, and like the wooden floorboards shatter and splinter as this massive amount of kinetic energy is imparted into the ground, and it shocks all the elves around him, and it tosses them across the room, and it tosses the chairs and tables across the room, and it kills 2 out of the 3 remaining. So, up next is X. How will you murder the last remaining elf?
Alright, despite me being who I am, I don't actually want to, cause any more fire damage to the building. That might impede our investigation just a tad. So, I'm gonna whip out my gun. I'm gonna switch it to a venom, and I'm gonna shoot.
Yeah, sure.
Just a 5.
That is a perfect pass. So how much damage is that do?
180.
You do in fact. So you try to you aim your gun again, and you fire, and this what like comes out of the gun with this poison?
I'm going to say it's a very animated blob of ichor. It's got a mind of its own.
Yeah. Okay. So this like black line of goo gets like hosed at this elf, and it coats him, and his skin turns black and like necrotic, and like his blood veins turn dark, and he just like and then he dies. He falls over and is very dead. Yeah, so combat is over because none of the pixies in the other room really want to pick a fight with us. Yeah, so combat's over. Boston Brook, he passed himself off. off of all of the remaining little crumbs and crystals of the weird demon drug, and clicks over to the group of his companions who have now totally trashed this bar, and it is still on fire. And I think he looks over to the fire, and I'm gonna make a roll. I'm gonna make a D20 roll. Let's see how many minutes do we have to check around before the place burns down. 20. Wow. Okay, sure. We have 20 minutes before the door melts off its hinges, and we can no longer escape the dimension, and we get trapped and burned alive. So, yeah.
All right. Well, with that, as Boston Book walks over, I'm gonna be like, so yeah, Battlecock found something in the storage room. We should probably check there before anywhere else.
He's like, excellent looking, Battlecock. Great job, old chap. And he just like, shakes a congratulatory hand towards Battlecock, and then he spins on his heels, and he marches off into the kitchen with Ctaiobhast, who is more hurt in his pride and morale than he is physically, because he does heal to full health in between combats. So he is physically fine, mentally a bit disturbed.
I look back to Ctaiobhast and I'm like, don't worry, it happens to the best of us. And as we're walking away, I pick up Battlecock and I go, wow, he kind of sucked in that fight.
He's gonna make a sanity check actually to see if this actually hurts his psyche. He got a 5. Let's see. That should be good enough to keep him sane. But maybe not. Let's see. What is his sanity? It should be pretty high. Yes, okay, he's fine. So he's just like, 1,000-yard stare, like disturbed. He's like, I don't know what happened. I'm a kraken. I'm a god amongst mortals. Like what? Like what is what? He's just like mumbling under his breath as he like slowly drags his feet into the kitchen after Boston Brook, being bullied by Battlecock and X. And this kitchen is normal. All the pixies that were in here are no longer here. But seeing as you can see magic, you can see that they are invisible. They casted a bunch of spells to hide themselves and their supplies, like their fairy dust, stuff like that. It's been all over the place. So they're still here, we just can't see them. Boston Brook kicks his door down into the storage room. It's a room full of crates. There's a bunch of big boxes, some spare chairs, and there's a big wine cabinet across the room from the doorway. So let's see. Boston Brook is gonna make an intelligence check. He did his job for once, and he got a 6. Boston Brook walks in, and he's like, "Well, let's get to searching, shall we?" And he starts looking around the boxes and stuff, and he looks on the floor, and he sees the classic Sherlock Holmes thing where he sees the worn out flooring from the dragging of the cupboard across the floor, and he's like, classic trick. He walks over to the wine cabinet and he just pulls it aside, and it opens up like a door, swings open, and there is a staircase into the basement. So, yeah, Boston Brookie's like, when you look at that, sure enough, I've still got it in me, he says. I'm gonna make a check for him, actually, because having been in combat, he is now really wants to drink. Nope, he's still holding it together. So his hands are shaking now. His eyes are wild and stuff. He's very jittery. And he's like, yep, still got it. Yep, great. And he descends the staircase. So now we have 2 depressed teammates instead of just 1. Oh God. Yeah. So Ctaiobhast and the rest of us descend the stairs into a small spiraling stone stairwell. You don't know why it's stone. This is a pocket dimension. It doesn't have to be stone, but whatever. And the instead of being like torches, they're like fairy fire on the walls and stuff, like floating there, having a good time. And we descend this stairwell and come to a really large metal door, like the one outside.
Oh, all right. Well, I suppose. Hey, is Boston Brook strong enough to pry this open?
Uh, Masaruka can try.
I mean, I suppose if you really wanted, I could just blow it down, but
Well, usually Ctaiobhast. No. I think Boston Rick goes to try to open it, and Ctaiobhast goes, "No, doors are my thing," and he's gonna try to blow the door off its hinges. But he's really got a complex now. Yes, okay, good. So he's like, "No, the doors are my thing. Cool entrance time," and he shoves his hand forward. And this like pulse of telekinetic energy blasts this metal door and like concaves it in, and it flies across this like dungeon room and slams into the back wall. There's dust everywhere. And Boston Brook's like, "Yep, good job." And he like pats him on the back, trying to be reassuring. And you walk in the dungeon and find that there are 5 succubi demons. We all know what they look like. Boston Brook has dealt with them before. X is one, and Ctaiobhast is like a super all-knowing magical expert. So they are chained to the walls via metal. They're metallic, but they are like really shiny platinum shackles with glowing white runes carved into them, and they have like weird like tubes and like IV needles going out of them in like their mouths and their arms and stuff like that, and the tubes all run into a big alchemy station on the far side of the room, and then out of the alchemy station, it funnels into like a crucible almost, or like a furnace, and then from there comes this like there's like this big pile of uh, the drug. So Boston Brook, he turns to all of us and he goes, "Well, I've been mad about this if it wasn't that it was torturing demons. So, what do you gentlemen think we should do about this?"
Well, honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I'm in the mood for some home decoration.
"Well, you've already started, my friend, so might as well finish."
Nice. All right, I'm just gonna blow up the alchemy station.
Um, yeah, sure. You just cast, we don't have to cast anything. You just probably just like walk up, flick your fingers next to the drug, and because it's like demon stuff, it lights on fire very, very easily, and it catches, and then the furnace topples over, and accusation just, boom, like all at once, this massive flame, and yeah, are you guys gonna like? I mean, the succubi are unconscious at the moment. Don't know why, but they are currently not coherent.
Well, I'm not a medical expert, so unless someone's gonna stop me, I'm gonna just start pulling out tubes.
I'm gonna make a thing for Boston Brook. Great, you got a 10. Boston Brook looks to you and he goes, "Whatever," and just like starts like next to you, starts pulling out tubes from people. He doesn't know why he's pulling out tubes, but he does that. And Ctaiobhast follows suit, and it takes like 10 seconds, and you yank all the different tubes and needles out. They are still all unconscious, but they're like the weird, like iridescent, glowing-ish, magical, uh, like ichor that flows from these demon women. So it leaks out of their bodies for a second, and then it like clots, presumably, and it stops. And Bosomic's like, well, are we going to leave these uh, things here to burn, or are we going to take them with us, or are we going to kill them, or what?
I mean, you're the JCPU guy, but all I'm saying is, it never hurts to have, backup. You got some any business cards on you? I'm sure we can get some employees.
And he Bosman turns to you, and with like a raised eyebrow, and he's like, "Didn't you have a relationship with a succubus at one point? If I read your file correctly."
Yeah. Unrelated though.
I'm sure. Yes. He's like, well, seeing as I'm sure Dr. Helsing would probably kill all of us if we didn't do our job properly. Um, we can kill these demons. I mean, they'll respawn in hell anyway, so this is like a permanent killing for them. They'll just respawn in hell. So this is more merciful anyway. So he just like draws his sword and shish kebabs one of them after the other one. And unless somebody stops him, he's just gonna go down the line and just stab, stab, stab all the way. Coup de grace them all. They can't do anything to stop him.
All right. Well, halfway through this, I'm gonna pick up Battlecock and I'm gonna put my hand over his eyes and be like, "Not in front of the chicken." And I walk back up the stairs.
As you walk up the stairs, Boston calls after you and goes, "My bad, I'm sorry," and followed by like the meaty like schlunk of a sword carving into a demon. Um, it's a very audible sound. You don't know why, but it's very echoey up here. So you kind of climb the stairs. Ctaiobhast follows you because he is honestly too dejected at the moment to really know what to do with himself. And a minute later, Boston comes back upstairs, followed by the rising smoke of the downstairs fire. The upstairs fire is still raging. The flames have consumed like the whole right side of the bar, so like all the tables and the booths and stuff are on fire. But the bar counter itself and like the corpse of the leprechaun are still fine. So Boston Rook, he
Well,
claps his hands together, he sees his sword, and he's like, "Job well done, gentlemen."
indeed. I think it's time to get out of here before this becomes our permanent residence. I hate to abandon, a piece of work of mine, but this one I'm happy to leave behind.
Boston was like, it's like, I would agree with you on that one, old chap. And he points towards the big metal door that is like beginning to melt a little bit, as like it's like red hot on the edges. And he's like, "Tally ho before this thing melts!" And he runs over to it, and we get out of the building quick. We're like 10 feet away. Doesn't. And we swing the door open. We hop through. Everybody gets out. And as we close the door behind ourselves, the big metal iron door like melts completely off of its hinges and just falls into the middle of this alleyway, and the spell is ruined. The runic carving in the alleyway brick is gone from the flames, and there's just a big door in the middle of this alleyway with this motley crew of individuals now.
Hmm. Well, if I recall, I don't think we have anything else to do here, unless you want to report back to the actual cops.
Boston looks like he looks at his watch, and he's like, having tea in a couple of hours with Miss McLafferty. So no, I think they'll figure it out themselves. I'm sure that JBC will let them tomorrow. And he just like whistles really loudly, and a black limousine pulls up to the curb. The window slides down, and there is a lovely elven woman driving the vehicle, and she looks over to us, and she's like, "Good evening, sirs. Hop in. I'll drive you back to the headquarters."
I look at Boston Book and I'm like, wow, you get these things on demand? Nice.
He's like, "Well, it didn't come cheap. You see, it took a lot of work, many, many years, and a couple of magic rituals to get that car to teleport like that." And yeah, he walks off. He holds the door open to the limousine for Ctaiobhast and you and Battlecock. And the credits roll as the limousine, starts off down towards the sunset, back towards New Orleans. Bam. Yeah. And just like that, we have the conclusion to today's episode. So, I hope everybody enjoyed. Of course, my lovely co-host here, guest. Hope you enjoyed as well.
Mm.
And yeah, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and check us out next week, because hopefully, if everything goes as planned, we're going to be bringing back some lovely cyberpunk action. So that should really make me want to hurt myself, if last time was any indication.
I'm excited for the return of Karl Hoppenheim,
Yeah, don't worry. I'm making a mission where I'm making sure that we can bring all the old characters back. So, yeah. Next week, same time, same bat channel.